Chapter 1, Entrance Exam Arc, Prologue. Opening. They say the ones who become your heroes are often your own parents. Well, no one told me they meant literally. Flashback. The scene shifts to a cityscape. We can see a 3-story building that's being used as a restaurant. Around it are other buildings and stores. In front is a decent crowd of people, either waiting to get in or eating dinner at the outdoor tables. The camera shifts to view the balcony, with a decent number of tables and diners. We then can see a small 3-member family looking at a laptop with happiness and a sense of pride on their faces. "Dad, come on, get him," the man said with a big smile on his face. "Mom, watch out, dear, he's behind you," the woman said with concern on her face, that then turned into a smile. "Young you, get him sis, show them who's boss," the little boy said with pride. The 3 cheered for someone on the screen, not caring about the other diners around them, but they didn't seem too bothered. Some looked over their shoulders to watch too. Others just ignored it and continued eating. I was 9 at the time, but I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was just another day with my parents, another normal day. We were sitting on a small balcony at our local restaurant. We wanted to watch my big sister's time at the UA Sports Festival. I had recorded it for my parents, since they have busy work schedules. It was torture to resist watching it, but I made a promise not to. Plus, I really wanted to watch it with them. Even though it wasn't live, we couldn't help but cheer her on as she dominates the festival. It was fun, eating with my parents, feeling the nice cool breeze. I just wish my sister was here with us, but she couldn't make it. Which, I'll admit, did make me sad, but I understood. She's trying to become a hero to rival All Might one day after all. Even though it wasn't very high up, we decided to go to the edge of the balcony and look over the city, well, what little we could see, that is. We wanted to enjoy this time together a little longer, but this is when everything went so horribly wrong. Then an explosion can be heard. It was off in the distance, down the road from where the restaurant was. This not only caught the family's attention, but the other diners as well. It was small, but still loud enough to be heard blocks away. Then we can see as a large crowd of people running from something that was hidden within the smoke. Civilian 1, run. Civilian 2, it's a monster. Civilian 3, someone please, call a hero or the police. Civilian 4, please someone help us. Villain. Run while you can, you little worms. We then see a large monster-like creature burst through the smoke, chasing after the crowd of people. He wasn't stealing anything, he wasn't running from anyone. He was chasing people for the fun of it, and he enjoyed it. The monster had the biggest grin on its face, as if he takes sadistic pleasure in hurting random people. He's so large that he could easily catch up to the people, but purposely ran slower to prolong their suffering. He still manages to catch up to some, and when he does, he would smack them away, hurling them into the walls and windows of nearby buildings on either side of him, all the while laughing at their misery and pain, reveling in the thought that he just killed someone, or could have killed someone. This small family, including everyone else, saw this and was filled with fear. The boy's mother quickly grabbed her child and held him in her arms. The father grabbed his wife's hand, and they began to run away, along with the others. The monster saw people panicking on the balcony, and formed an evil grin on his face. He then crashed into the support pillars to the balcony, all the while laughing as he saw the entire thing collapse. Many, including his family, were falling head first. It was horrible. I remember the fear I felt. How scared I was seeing that monster. It still haunts me to this day. I still have nightmares of that monster and the look on my parents' face. As we fell, I remember seeing my parents' faces so vividly. They were scared, but they were more concerned about me than themselves. They both grabbed onto me and hugged me. Then it all went dark. I remember a sharp pain in my head. My body felt so sore. It was enough to wake me up. When I opened my eyes, I saw flashing red and blue lights, then I felt something wet. I didn't understand. I was in my parents' arms covered in something wet and red, but they weren't waking up, no matter how much I begged them. I tried shaking them, but I struggled to move. However, my worry for my parents gave me the strength to get up and shake them. They were so limp, they weren't moving. Young you, Mom, Dad? What's wrong? Wake up please. I'm scared. Why won't you wake up? Someone please, my mommy and daddy won't wake up. Please, something's wrong. The little boy's pleas for help caught the attention of an EMT that just came out of the ambulance. EMT 1. "Hey, there's a small child over here," the man said as he was rushing towards him, trying to get the attention of others around him. "Cop 1. What?" A nearby cop heard him and came to help. "EMT 1, come here, little boy, I'll help you up," the EMT said with sadness in his eyes and concern in his voice. "Young you. Please mister, something's wrong with mom and dad, please help them," I said while tears began to flow down my face, but he didn't do anything. He just hugged me, apologizing to me, but I didn't understand why. I just wanted him to help my parents. Why wouldn't he? And why did he say sorry? I don't understand. Then a loud explosion-like sound could be heard, like something large just hit the ground at high speeds. When everyone looked in the direction of the sound, a pillar of smoke coming out of a large, but not very deep, crater can be seen. As the smoke begins to clear up, a girl, in her teens, can be seen in the middle of it. Mysterious teen. "Mom, Dad, little brother?" the girl said with concern in her voice, trying her hardest to find them. She then spots her little brother and rushes towards him, but a group of cops tries to stop her. Mysterious teen. "Let go of me. You better let go, otherwise I won't care if you're cops." Then she looked at them with pure anger and murderous intent in her eyes. I said, "Move now." The cops backed away in fear, taking a few steps back. "Young you, Futame," the little boy cries to his older sister. She hears the little boy cry out her name, and the anger she felt, merely a few seconds ago, vanished, replaced with happiness at seeing that her little brother is okay. The little boy ran up to his big sister and jumped into her arms, crying, "Young you, please make them help mommy and daddy. They won't help them. Please," the boy said while crying into his big sister's chest. She was surprised, but she feared what that meant. She rubbed his head, as if trying to reassure him that everything is going to be okay. "Futame, it's going to be okay, I'm here now. Everything's alright. Now, be a brave boy for me, and stay with this nice EMT lady. I'll go have a little chat with the mean cops." She then places him in the arms of a female EMT and walked towards some cops. I remember my sister putting me in the arms of a nice EMT lady who hugged me, trying to comfort me. Why was everyone acting so weird? Why was it such a hard task for them? It's what they're supposed to do, right? Help people. I just couldn't understand it, and for the first time in my life, I saw my sister cry. I could clearly hear it, as if I was right beside her. She was on her knees crying, punching the ground in anger and sadness. Why is she crying? What's going on? These thoughts ran through my head as I saw my sister cry, but I think a part of me knew, deep down, as to the reason why, because I remember the wet sensation flowing down my cheeks. The scene shifts to a graveyard with many people there, looking at the two coffins. We can see the little boy and his sister. She was holding him in her arms, clearly trying not to cry. She wanted to be strong for her little brother, so he won't cry or worry, but it's clear to anyone else that she wants to cry out her lungs and curse the world for taking away her parents, but also the anger in her eyes towards the bastard that took their parents away. Who was never caught, nor does anyone know who that monster was. I just couldn't grasp it. Why were mom and dad in those boxes? Big sis told me that they've passed on, and it was just going to be just us now. Why? What does she mean by move on? It just doesn't make sense to me. It wasn't until I was a bit older that I finally understood. My parents are dead. Author's note. Alright everyone, that wraps up my first ever chapter of this series, or any series, actually. I hope you enjoyed it, though it was pretty sad, and I'll admit, it hit pretty close to home, as my own mother passed not too long ago. I hope my writing style wasn't too confusing, and was easy to follow along, but I guess we'll see once I introduce more characters. I meant to add those middle texts that I use as dividers, but I couldn't think of anything as this was one long flashback. Oh, yay, and I hope you enjoy those custom font text. I wish I could use more to express emotion, but I'm limited because it has to be a copy and paste thing, but I hope it added a little extra flavor to the story. And yay, I don't think there's anything else other than that, so I hope you can look forward to the next chapter. Originally I didn't have the names and tags beside those who are talking, but I decided to add them. I'll try to keep it like this, unless you guys prefer it without them. I just went back to add them, except for when it's the scene being described, cause it might get confusing when more characters are introduced. Oh, and the monster, he may or may not return in the future, wink wink.